Hi everyone, welcome to episode 22 of YarnAdelaide Knits podcast. It's Thursday, the 22nd of December. Everybody ready for Christmas? I think I am. I hope I am. I really need to double check tonight because I don't, I'll double check tonight to make sure because there's not much more time and I have, Anyway, so my name's Nicole. And I'm coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. As I said, it's Thursday. All the boys are home from school now on school holidays. Scarlett's asleep in bed. The eldest is not feeling very well. A bit of an upset tummy. He just feels a bit lethargic and nauseous. So I did plan on filming in front of the Christmas tree today, but and be a bit more Christmassy, but I'm out here. It's about 32 degrees out here today, so it's a bit warm. It's not unbearable, and I'm getting the draft. That's our bathroom window there. I'm getting a draft from the aircon from there and from the back door there, so it's not unbearable, and I won't be out here for long because I don't really have much to tell you. I just wanted to mostly wish everybody a happy Christmas, but I'll do that at the end. Today I've got some FOs and a work in progress that I don't think I brought out with me. I'll have to get that in a minute. And an update on Take Charge of My Stash, and tell you guys a bit more about the Aussie knit along that will happen towards the end of January. So I'm hoping you guys are starting to get organised for that and have your Aussie design pattern or your Aussie yarn ready to cast on. So thanks for all stopping by. Thanks to my regular viewers for coming back, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. I'm hoping it's not too warm if you're in the southern hemisphere, and it's not too you're warm inside if you're in the northern hemisphere. I was going to say not too cold, but it would be, from what I see on the TV, it's really cold up there at the moment. Winter has hit with a vengeance. So let's get into it, shall we? No, I think it's next door. I'm hearing a door open. Anyway, so just a noise. What I have finished. Okay, I've got socks. My Christmas knitting has kind of come, I think it's just going to come to a massive standstill. I did plan on making a heap of socks for everybody, and I think I got as far as 4 completed pairs. I did start off when I was knitting the socks of the people who I really wanted to knit the pairs of socks that I know would appreciate my socks, and then to the ones that if I have time I'll still keep knitting. But I've conceded that I've run out of time, and I've fallen about 4 definite pairs short if you count my family or my husband and my 2 boys that I did want to knit a pair of socks for, and I've fallen 7 short. So all up, I think I needed to knit about 11 pairs. But I managed to get 4. So these ones are for my mother-in-law. These are the pinstripe socks by Julia Swart. So they've been on the blockers for a few days, just naturally. I didn't wet them down or anything to block them. I just sort of leave them on there to let them naturally flatten out. The yarn is Modavira Spotlight yarn. I couldn't tell you what colourway it is, but I do like the striping of it. Quite nice. So yeah. And they're finished, so they're ready to go. And then, so basically I got the in-laws done and my parents done with completed pairs of socks. So the ones that I really, really wanted to get done, I did get done. So Excuse that noise, it's the neighbours next door if it comes out on the video. Upside down, Miss Jane. Yeah, these ones are vanilla latte socks. These are for my stepfather. I'm pretty sure I didn't show you these the last time. Only 2 weeks ago, but it says that they were works in progress, so it should be alright. So, yeah, and they've got a few Mindy hairs. Oh, Mindy, that's my old dog. A few kitty hairs on there. Yes, vanilla latte socks. The yarn is opal, and the colourway is called Brummel. It's an old colourway that I think is been discontinued. That had been in Deep Stash. It's a message on my phone. Too many distractions already. Yeah, so these ones are completed. The sock blockers that I've got are the medium size from the Knit Pick, so they're only like around a size, a lady 7. So he's got a big size 13 feet, so they come out a couple more inches after that. So yeah, and they're finished. I'm happy with them as well. They were knit on 2.5mm needles. I think they were knit on my highs, my high 2.5s. These ones were knit on 2.5s as well. I think there might have been some Knit Picks. I've been doing a lot of magic loop because I like. No, these weren't. These were on DPNs. In saying that, but I have been trying to have been doing a lot more magic loop sock knitting, being that simple socks are quite are nice to take on the go, and I like the idea of the magic loop being having one needle, it's all attached, you won't drop or lose a needle if you're out and about, especially if you go to the cinema and you're knitting in the dark. Having the magic loop is a godsend, especially if you drop one and you will never see it again. I don't know, the cinemas are our way, and when the lights even go on, the carpet's dark and you can't really notice anything. So yeah, they're the two finished objects. I'll keep going with my finished objects, and I will go and get my whip in a moment. So what else I have done, I'll show you what I've done with my Cozy Memories blanket. Now, I did plan through December because I belong to, or I participated in a few advent calendar mini skein swaps. Excuse me, let me have a drink of my tea. Which is from one of my Cozy Memory swaps. I'll put the thing, is a holiday chai by Stash. And it's actually quite nice. I do like a chai. So, I think I've fallen behind only because I've been panicking about the finishing off the socks. So the sock knitting has been taking up most of the time, and I did plan on doing a square a day, but it hasn't turned out that way, unfortunately. So I'm a couple of days behind, but because I've resided to the fact that the last pair of socks I've got on the needles now is I've only got the toes to kitchen a stitch in, so they're pretty much done, and I'm not going to try and get another pair done before Christmas, even though we've still got a couple of days. But if I do one pair, then that's for one half of the pairs, that one half of the, like for my mother and my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law. If I do it for who do I choose, and then my niece and her fiance, so who do I choose? If I do one pair, I need to do both pairs to go there, so I'm just calling it quits. So when I last spoke to you, I had done 7 squares and I was on to my 8. So I started here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and then I was on my 8th square. So I've done 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So what's today, the 22nd? 4 squares behind. But I think I'll catch up now because I'll just leave that. I have no pressure now. I'm not going to pressure myself into this mad Christmas knitting, and I want to actually enjoy my Christmas Eve sock cast on this year, because I think last year I was still madly knitting away for Christmas, and I only managed to cast on the pair of socks. So yeah. So I've done 11 pairs. Elijah's trying to talk to me. Yes, darling, what would you like?
Can I go next door?
Yes, you can. But tell Alex to be quiet. If he's going to be noisy outside. So yeah. He came out quietly out the back here because we've got a side door, and then wrote on a piece of paper to try and just, yeah. Anyway, you know, live screening. Who knows, I might even edit it out. So yeah, so I'm up to 18 squares. But unfortunately, as I said last podcast, most of the minis that I've gotten have been about just over 6 grams, and I thought my squares were about 6 grams, but I think they're 7 or 8. So I've had to fill in a few bits and pieces, not all of them, because because the 2 swaps that I did, one of them was a smaller swap, but he gave bigger minis. So and because I only open up those once a week, I only get one once a week, and so have to fill up the others. And then I had some, and then trying to colour coordinate, because each of them represents my kids. So Scarlett has the pinks and the reds and the purples and the girly colours, and Elijah has the blues and the greens and the yellows, and Silas has the reds and the browns and the blacks and the greys, and so on. Silas still has some blues, and even I think the dark purple I ended up doing with Silas, but he mostly has, like, that's Silas as well, he mostly has the darker colours. So yeah, and it's been good, because I've been wanting to get that finished, although the ends, oh no, I don't need to go get my works in progress, there it is. It's been good because I kind of want to get it finished, because I want to start another one, and then the crochet memories blankets and what have you.
Alex is not home.
Okay.
So can I go to Connor's instead?
No, Connor's been sick.
Oh.
No, you're not going to Connor's, and you're not going to get sick from Connor. Sorry. So, sorry about that. Yeah. Cheeky. Yes. So, yes, I don't want him to get sick this close to Christmas. I don't need it. Not when I've already got one on the couch, not feeling flash. So yeah, it's been nice to get and yes, I want to finish my cozy memories, because I want to start a new one. That's the dog. The dog's letting herself out now. Hello, darling. You come out and keep me company, don't you? Hey? You going to come up here? Come on. Come on. You going to come and say hello? Come on. We can't really see you, can we? Can we see you? Hey? You want to come up here? You would, wouldn't you? Come on. Come on. Come on. Here, let's move that out of the way. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's come and say hello. Come on. You're just a bit too big. There she is. He can see you. You are a bit too big and you stress yourself out. Go on then, go play. Yes, go on. Go play. Oh, you're going to come in again, are you? Go on, off you go. Off you go. Yes, she's the reason my hair's all over my knitting. Okay. So yes, I want to finish that. Let's back digressing. Yes, I want to finish my Cozy Memories blanket because I've decided that I want to do another Cozy Memories, but not necessarily a blanket. I want to do a cushion on a big square European pillow and do one for each of my kids again, but do smaller squares so they're only one colour squares, and do it and get them to choose 3 colours that they want, and I'll use colours from minis in those squares. But I don't want to start it until that's finished. And then I wouldn't mind doing the crochet blanket. It's been a while since I've really got the crochet hook out, although I've got that weekender blanket that I started probably about 12 months ago, no, earlier in the year, that hasn't had much love for quite a long time now. So yeah, there's some vague plans of what I want to do next year. So that's all the finished objects, and then I'll just show you my only whip that I have done, and these will be the last pair of socks. These will be for my father-in-law. So there. These are an opal yarn again, but they have some cotton in them. So yeah, which has been good because my father-in-law has been having problems with his feet. He's diabetic, and yes, having these will be good. So yeah, they're almost done as well. Just got to graft the toes. Again, they're a 72 stitch sock, and being that they're cotton, they're quite a lot more relaxed than the 75-25. So yeah, and I'll finish them off tonight, so they'll be all done. So then I'll be able to catch up on my Cozy Memories blanket. So I think that's all. Take charge of my stash. I am still in front, which I'm a bit excited about. So last podcast I was 4.301 kilos, and then the 2 pairs of finished socks, mother-in-law's was 60 grams, stepfather's were 80 grams, and then 11 Cozy Memories at 8 grams each. Brought me up to 4.529 kilos, so just over 4.5 kilos. Stash in this year, last podcast was 4.160, so 4 kilos. I've had 300 grams of yarn come in, which were Christmas presents for me. Some of the Black Friday sales I've got in the mail since the last podcast, so I'm up to 4.460 kilos. So I'm still in front by 40, 60, 69 grams. I'm still in front, so hopefully I can get in front a bit more. I don't plan on buying any more, although I do have, I am still due something in the post, but I have a feeling that I won't get that before Christmas because it didn't have anything to do with Christmas. It was one of those grant your wishes, and I granted Crazy Dog Yarn. She wanted some minis, so I said, do you want some Aussie Indie Dyers minis? And she said yes, so I sent her some, and she's sending me some. And her partner's Australian, so I was able to send them to Melbourne to her partner's family, and he was going to be in Australia, so I was able to save a few dollars in postage. But she decided to send them from Canada because she was apprehensive of how long it was going to take and stuff and that sort of thing. So yeah, she was having second thoughts, but they still haven't come. But I'm not too stressed yet about it. It's only been 2 weeks, I think. So yeah, and being Christmas, usually things coming from overseas take 10 days to 2 weeks anyway. So, and being Christmas, I'm willing to let it go a bit longer. So that will lead me into some acquisitions. I got 3 skeins of yarn from 2 different indie dyers. I start off with, I've already started wrapping some up. I got some yarn. No, I think I've showed this because I did show, I did show it to you in the last podcast because of the one of the prizes for the Aussie cow that I was going to do. I'm sure I did. No, maybe I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to show it to you again. If you've seen it, you've seen it. So I got some yarn from Hannah from Rosehip Island, who's also Rosehip Chick and has Rosehip podcast. She's a Tasmanian indie dyer. Yeah, and this is the Rosehip. What is it? Rosehips in Holland colourway that I chose. I think I might use this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this as my Christmas Eve cast on. My sock cast on. That Little Bobbins hosts created a tradition or shared her tradition with everybody, and I think it's a nice tradition, and she has a bit of a knit along with it, I think. So yeah, and I'm going to do the Mercury socks, which I didn't bring out the pattern because I've already printed it off and got it ready to go. I just need to put some needles with it, and then and allocate a bag for it, and be all ready to go. So that is an Oz sock. It's a 80% Aussie merino and 20% nylon mix. And then I got some yarns from Flock Fibre. So since I'm holding up this one, I've already wound this one because I put it in the Cozy Memories blanket. So and I also finally got some Blueface Leicester sock wool. So this is their Wonderlust BFL, which is 80% Blueface Leicester, 20% nylon. Wow. It doesn't have very much meterage for the grams. It's only 370 meters for 115 grams, which is no drama, but it must be quite a denser wool, the BFL, which everybody says it's. I was expecting it to be a bit more coarser BFL than what it is. Mind you, it does feel a lot more woollier than merino, and it smells more sheepy too, which I quite like. Yes, I can smell lanolin in it still, which reminds me of when I was working as a stable hand up in the west coast near Ceduna in the early 90s, and they were big property, and they did a bit of shearing there, and I was I had my R.M. Williams riding boots on, and I was stamping, because I think were they crutching sheep, or was it just a small flock that needed a bit of shearing, so there wasn't much wool to be baled. So I was standing on the wool baler, or the wool that was going in the bale, and I was pressing it in there with my riding boots on, and it was giving my riding boots a good oil with the natural lanolin. It was amazing. My boots were nice and soft for weeks after. And yeah, anyway, digressing, but it reminds me of that woolly lanolin smell, which I'm quite used to, having horses and a lot of leather that needed cleaning, which I used to clean with lanolin based saddle oils and stuff. So yeah, that colour is called Antique Shop, which I will find the Cozy Memory Square and show you how it knitted up. Okay. Just that one there. Yeah, it's a nice speckled dye one. And these I think will be a pair of socks for Justin eventually. I'm pretty sure there'll be a pair of socks for Justin, if not for Silas, because I haven't knitted him a pair of socks yet, but he's desperate for a pair of fingerless gloves, which I've cast on, which I should get back to. Anyway, so that's that one, and then I got this one as well. This is their Take the Hike sock, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. Again, the same meterage as before. So yeah, they don't feel all that different, to be honest, which is interesting. So yeah, so they were some Christmas presents for me that I chose to get myself. I think that's about it for what I have to tell you with my knitting wise. I want to talk to you a bit more about the Aussie Knit Along that is starting on the 26th of January in 2017 and going to about the 30th of April. So it's a nice, decent, long, so it'll be about 3 months long. Knit along, crochet along, spin along if you want to as well. So yeah. So you can either use yarn from an Australian dyer or Australian yarn. It could be, could still be Australian yarn but dyed by a non-Australian indie dye, if that makes sense. As long as there's something Australian in there. Or use a pattern from an Australian designer. Same again with if you want to spin some Aussie yarn, if you want to crochet. And there's there's lots of Aussie indie dyes. There's lots of Australian yarn that's out there, and yeah, and there's lots of Aussie designers out there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to either message me in the bar below on YouTube or in the Ravelry group, the YarnAdelaide Knits podcast group. Message me there, or message me on Ravelry. I'm Cola Girl on Ravelry. On Instagram again, colagirl74, and I've got email colagirl74@gmail.com. Tam's Crafty Knits is also hosting Shara Maid and Shara Maid podcast, and Rose Hip Knits, and I still haven't got back to Nina to know whether she's going to be in town. So yeah, and whips are great, also acceptable. So if you've already started something, yeah, no more than halfway, to be fair. So yeah, I'm just trying to think, and yes, I'm going to be double dipping myself, because I'm going to join in. I don't know if any of you saw my Instagram feed yesterday. I posted 2 photos of some yarn, of some colourways that I've put together to do the Find Your Fade. Yeah, Find Your Fade cow by, what's her name? Drew Renee Maori. I hope I've pronounced that right and got it right. Yeah, she's starting a cow that seems to be a bit hot right now on Instagram and Ravelry and what have you. It's quite a nice long shawl that is asymmetrical with a little bit of lace through it that fades into 7 different colours. So yeah, and I thought that would be a perfect opportunity to showcase my yarn and learn how it knits up, because yeah, I've sort of haven't had much of an opportunity to see how some of my yarns knit up, and people who have bought them are hoarding them and not showing me what they're making. Which I understand. Sometimes you buy on impulse and you just want to have it in your stash for a while before you get to it, or you've just got a list a mile long of things that you want to get done. And there was something, and then yes, there's a couple of other things. I could also use my exploration station that I haven't started yet. It's got 2 of my colourways in it and 2 of Dingo Dye Works, which is another Australian indie dye that I'm sure a lot of you know about. So yeah, so that's another shawl. And then Tam is doing a Amber O'Brien knit along in January as well, and I'm sort of part way through one of her shawls, the Alinda shawl, that is made out of, well, Amber's from Melbourne, so she's an Australian designer, and the yarn that I'm using is Kathy's Fibres, which is a Adelaide indie dyer, so you know, it's sort of, I can triple dip that too. And there was something else, so yeah, I can double dip, as in it's made from an Australian design is an Australian dyer, the yarn is an Australian dyer, and it is going into another Australian podcast knit along. Say that 3 times and figure it out. And so, and yes, and then there's another shawl that I recently purchased as well that I want to get on the needles, because what's her name? Oh, something's tickling my leg. It was a needle that's fallen through the table. What's her name? I can't remember what her name is. It's escaping me. It is... what is it? She's a German designer. And she's been doing her advent for each day of her designs and discounted her designs each day. Oh wow, it's so escaping me. Her Tamdo, I remember the name of the shawl that I bought, the Tamdo shawl. I'd like to do that as well. And then I wanted to do also Yohi Locatelli's latest shawl that she designed when she was in Australia earlier this year. So I've been trying to get rid of these blasted socks so I can cast on some shawls. And the shawl, shawls I want to do, I can't find it. The shawls I want to do, the list keeps getting longer and longer. That's alright. We all like our shawls. So I think on that note, I think I will sign off. This is the last one for the year. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much for subscribing and purchasing. Oh, actually, before I forget, I always remember something. I won't have an update for Cola Girl Collective on Etsy until the new year now. I was going to do one probably this week, but I thought no, I'll hold off, and I will go into holiday mode for a few days from Christmas, because I'll be going away for a few days. So I'll put it in holiday mode for a few days, and then when I come back, I will put a few things on sale. yeah, and then I'll do an update. So yeah, I think that's, yeah, so there'll be a few bits and pieces, a few bargains to be had, so check it out. After Christmas, of course, probably more closer to the New Year. I'd say around New Year time I will have a little sale. So yeah, in saying that, thank you to everybody that has subscribed. I really appreciate it. I'm ever so grateful that people watch and like what I have to say. I really appreciate everybody that's purchased my yarns. It's amazing, and I feel quite humbled that people enjoy my creativeness. It is quite a nice feeling that you don't feel, what is the word for it? Quite humbling that people do like what you've created, and yeah, and you feel like, you know, you do, not necessarily that you're doing the right thing, that you find somebody's wavelength, you find a common ground with somebody. I think that's really nice, and you find a connection that, you know, if somebody likes what you've created, well, you find that connection there. I think that's, you know, that's, you always, you know, I think it's just human nature. You always want to feel appreciated and accepted. I think it's I think it's kind of like an acceptance thing, that if somebody likes what you're doing or what you're creating, well, you don't feel alone, if that makes sense. So yeah, so thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope 2016 has been a good year for you. I wouldn't say it's been a great year. It's been a bit challenging. You kind of feel like you're just plodding along. I hope 2017 is a little bit more exciting. Let's just say that. I think there's been a few things that have happened within my family with illness. Not my immediate family, but sort of, yeah, that has been a bit crap. That I'm kind of ready for a new year, and just bits and pieces with what's gone on around the world. The year of the monkey. It's been a crazy little cheeky monkey, hasn't it? So on that note, have a great Christmas. Hope you get to spend time with your family, or even just get time to have a bit of a break. May not celebrate Christmas, but at least it's a time where we get to have a bit of a holiday. So on that note, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy your knitting. See you in the new year. See ya.